ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So, in the last class, verse number 69, so we saw that मोक्षस्य हेतु प्रथमो निगत्यते वैराग्यम अत्यंतम नित्य वस्तुषु अत्यंतम अनित्य वस्तुषु ततः शमश्चापि दमतितिक्ष्या न्यासः प्रसक्ताखिल कर्मणावृषम. That we have seen in details. That if I want to be a free person, so mokshasya hetuhu, so this is the means. So how? Very nicely, because we need to look at, first is the hetu, the karana. Prathama is a vairagyam. We have seen in details. The dispassion, and of course not ordinary one, atyantam. So when it says atyantam, it should be really extremely, that means really ripened, matured. Okay. Of course, after that comes what? With reference to what? With reference to anitya vastus. Not with reference to, do you know, nitya vastu, only one nitya vastu. Anitya vastu means all impermanent things. And what are they? That we'll see. Tataha, then what happens? Shama, damaha, titiksha. So you know, I don't have to talk. And finally it says, Nyasaha prasakta khila karmanam, which is very nice that we also saw, that one need to learn to get rid of the karma, the action, where the person is completely attached. Prasakta. So prasakta means we can call selfish motive, where mama bhava is stronger. Sense of mind is stronger. Because if we observe, the growth is stopped then and there, where the sense of mind is there. The moment sense of mind enters in anything, literally the fear, the worries, anxieties, the projection of future, all sort of complication happens. If there is no sense of mind, really life becomes very easy. And also it is easy to talk, okay? That's why one has to be very careful to work, not to have sense of mind. You can say, Swamiji, yeah, you good. You are sitting in the ashram, you don't bother. Come and stay with us, you will see. What sort of uncertainty and all these things happens. This is how the knowledge, this is how the truth is. That's why Karma Yoga plays a big role. That's why two lifestyles have been highlighted in Bhagavad Gita. However, after this thing, what now it says, what is to be done then? Let us read 70. Tatah srutistyanam mananam satatva dhyanam chiram nitya nirantaram mune tato vikalpam parametya vidwan iheva nirvana sukham samruchyate. One of the best point is here highlighted, that iheva nirvanam sukham samruchyate. the person will get nirvana. So nirvana generally is being highlighted by Buddhism, okay? So bana means affliction, okay? So where there is no affliction at all, nirgata. And here the problem is with Buddhism, so you will get nirvana after death. So they took the word nirvana from here, so then they made a confusion. But here the beauty is, you will have nirvana, means free from all sort of affliction. Here. It is like, you learn the driving. The day you learn the driving and get the license, that day, not only car crashes, also you crash, you die. So if that is the purpose, now will you learn driving? It is better not to learn driving, okay? Because the day I get my certificate, everything, that day car crashes and I also crash. So what is the purpose? Same thing also, what happens? Nirvana comes, this door is not closed, okay? This is the problem. People are not looking at few points, okay? Sorry. However, so what is happening here is, when we look at, no, close it, there is a way of closing, okay? Okay, thank you. Oh. No problem. Thank you. So, coming back, iheva. So I was giving the example of this driving and learning driving. So that means what? You expect to have the certificate, driving license, so that you can drive the car, enjoy the ride. So here what happens? You do all tapas, all austerity to become free from all problem. And only when it will happen? After your death. So if that is the case, so why should I put effort? And the worst part is, in every religion, what you deny here, means in the name of austerity, what you deny here, all these things you will get after death in heaven. Means what mind. So that means people will say, look, let the this liberation or moksha or freedom wait, okay? Let me enjoy my freedom here. That's why the present generation, they want to enjoy their freedom as much as possible. So whether they are destroying or enjoying is a different thing altogether. Let us not get into. This is what the psychology. But here he says, Yeheva nirvana bruchyati. That's the beautiful point. That the person can be free from all sort of affliction now and here. Means here itself. Appa, that's a great hope, okay? You understand? And how to go about it? Then of course, he says, prior to the samadama and all these things, also you need to what? Tataha. That means one's mind is available. The previous verse was making mind available for the teaching. So that means the person must be composed. We say beautifully, that person is a, let us say, mighty person. That person is called a strong person, whose body is active but mind is calm. But in our case it's other way around. Body is calm, mind is super duper active. You understand? It should be other way around. Body should be active and mind should be calm. That's why this dasya bhava, seva bhava comes. Just I'll give you the beautiful concept. Dasya bhava or seva bhava, because especially in let us say Madhva culture, any Dvaita culture, that seva bhava that is there very much. And of course Vaishnavites, any Vaishnavites we say, whether it's a Gaudiya Vaishnava or any Vaishnavites, seva bhava is there. And nowadays also they have changed in all the big ashrams, new age people, new age gurus, so they have injected the seva bhava. That's another differently. Okay, nothing wrong in it. What happens there, you can see. Through the seva means service, okay? Through the seva bhava, the mind calms down, body is supposed to be active. And the best example of this is Hanuman. So Hanuman was the icon of seva, service. And interestingly, Hanuman was a body of monkey. A monkey cannot keep quiet. Always, body is active. Can you see this point? It is very difficult to find a monkey who keeps quiet. Always body is active. And along with that, if you look at Hanuman's mind, because he studied under whom? Surya Bhagavan. Surya Bhagavan is his guru, okay? He went round to study with him, okay? He was moving along, he was moving with him to study. So that means, that's why you can see, that's why Hanuman is being considered as the mightiest person in this world. So that means the trick is making the body active and mind composed or stable, calm. So if that is the case, then only that person will be available for anything and everything. So this is being gained from the previous verse that we saw. Then only with that mind, what happens? He says, Srutihi, that person is able to hear. Because problem with all of us is, we never hear. First of all, everything only we hear, means you understand. Thank God the God has given 2 ears in the right way, parallelly, so that get out. Including this class, okay? And of course, sometimes, all this wax and everything is there, and of course, like hair, like me is there. Nothing enters, you understand? It passes by. Let Swamiji talk whatever he wants to talk, okay? Only some sensitive point, or whenever you get hot, that starts ringing and ringing. That's another point. However, so in hearing there is a lot of issue. But here he says, Shrutihi. So you need to listen to. So listening to happen. So listening is not, what he says is Shravanam, Mananam, Nitidhyasanam. These 3 aspects is being highlighted, okay? Atma Vare Drashtabhya. See, if you have to understand, Atma is to be understood. Drashtabhya means to be seen, understood. So in order to see or understand Atma, you need to do what? Shravanam, Srotabhyam, Mantabhyam, Nitidhyasitavyam. This is the Shruti Vakya. So that is being highlighted here. So first Shravanam, then comes Tat Mananam. So you need to do, reasoning it out so that to make sure that Shruti takes over, not your logic or your habitual error. Problem is, many people get exposed to Vedanta and again they get dropped. Why it happens? Because they have not done properly Manana. Can you see this point? They continued parallelly, their habitual error continued. So you looked at the Vedanta conveniently. The Shruti part was a soothing part. So when the Mananam is not, because if the Mananam continues strongly, you will discover without your knowledge, your habitual error will be reduced. So if the habitual error is not being reduced, that means Mananam is not being done properly. Can you see this point? And of course, time to time, if the difficulties or agitation or different type of, let us say, conflict arises, that is lack of Nitidhyasana. So that's why he says, after this thing, also Satatva Dhyanamithya. So dwelling upon the truth means Nitidhyasana. Truth means what? Teaching, nothing else. So Sravanam, Mananam and Nitidhyasana. And how it is to be done? Nitya Nirantaram. It's not once in a while, it doesn't work. It is exactly like a singer how sings, keeping the Shruti always in the mind. If a singer forgets the Shruti, can the singer manage to sing? Impossible. Only donkey will start braying, okay, you understand? So also here, Nitya Nirantam, always, constantly, 24/7, you understand? And of course into 365 days. So nitya nirantaram, constantly, without any break. And of course that munehi means a contemplative person. Tataha, what happens? Becomes abhikalpam param ethya. So this contemplative person, thereafter what happens? So becomes free from all sort of fluctuations. And when and where? He says, after being free from all sort of fluctuations, all the conflictions, paramam ethya. So paramam is the absolute, ethya means riches. The person reaches. So when that person reaches, that vidwan, what happens? He says, where it happens? Is it after the falling of the body? Hey, no. Iha eva nirvanam samruchyati. So by reaching paramam, the absolute is not enough, but the most important part is what? Free, becomes free from all sort of affliction. So that's why we say the mama bhava, the sense of me and mine, is the cause of affliction. The more I have sense of me and mine, or the stronger sense of me and mine is in me at any moment, that moment I'll have definitely some type of pain in me. That means you are telling that we should live like, completely spineless person. Talking about a spineless person, you should have nothing wrong in it. Remember, one should know, one must know one's own limits. That's why we say, honoring one's own limit is called your strength, not forgetting. The problem with us is when the situation is conducive or not conducive, both times, we always forget the limits of ourselves. So when we forget to honor our limits, we invite all sort of problem in our life. Have you not observed this? So that's what is being highlighted very clearly, carefully, that Nirvana Sukham, oh, he uses word Sukham also there, okay. Nirvana Sukham Samruchyati. Free from affliction, at the same time very happy, comfortable. The person really gets here, okay. If this is the case, I would like to know, how is it possible? What is the required? Don't worry. Now the teaching will start. So this is the background is being given. Now teaching, he is going to introduce the teaching. Okay? Can you see? Once you give the proper lollipop, now you started training the child. You understand? So hand over lollipop. But the problem with the child is that fellow wants only lollipop, not training. Okay? I am not telling you jokes. With due respect to all of you. Here what is happening? There is a dog here. Okay, has come. I am really tired of. Small fellow. I think it's somebody's dog, first of all. Came. Straight away came, I think some other dog changed. Came to the first floor in front of where I am staying. And whole day stayed here. Did not go down. So I felt very bad because what else to do? Then gave some food, did not eat, very fussy. Once special food, some murku and whatnot, you cannot think of what you wanted. I had to give you everything. I said, okay, because I felt very bad, what else to do? Then I discovered because it was not good, stinking. Then I had to tie down and gave, soap bath. So that to make sure that, poor fellow, I cannot do all these things. Because sleeping in front of my room, what else to do? Took care of it. Then after that whole night stayed. No problem. Next day also stayed. I said, okay, fine. Whatever, what can I do? Then I discovered, because after that he went away somewhere. Because of 2 days of association, I started looking for a where is that fellow gone? Is he safe or not? You may believe that 15 to 20 minutes I was looking for that fellow. I said, okay, forget. Then after that I discovered again, after 1 day he came back. Stayed. So I started looking at what did he do, what did not do, because last 2 days he stayed here. Now what he has done? He did not go down, never. So where did he do to? I was searching everywhere. I discovered on the top of the terrace he has made a mess. Very clever fellow, okay? Forget that. Now what happens? Because I really changed him. That fellow never was going down. I changed him. Now that fellow permanently now sleeps on the ground on the entrance, okay? Does not go, and whenever he wants to go, he goes freely. And now somebody has removed that belt. Somebody, I don't know who he removed, definitely not Ranjan. Now there is no belt. Fellow is completely free. So whenever he wants to go out, he goes. Whenever he wants to come, but most of the time, just lie down, and if you hit, that's all. Just look at. Now that poor fellow is enjoying his life because no training at all. Because the moment you start training, will run away. Now after 1 or 2 years, will that dog become a street dog or not? Will that dog live life of sympathy or not? But whereas if that dog manages to be trained, allows itself to be trained, okay, little painful, but always will be different lifestyle or not? So, coming back why I took it, this lollipop, okay, from there I stretched. So the child wants lollipop, but the problem with the child is wants lollipops after lollipops and better lollipops. So when the child does not want to be trained, wants to be free, then what happens? Same child becomes like this dog. That's why very carefully to be handled this situation. Yad bodhabhyam, let us read the 71. Yado bodhabhyam, yad bodhabhyam tavedanim atmanatma vivechanam taduchyate maya samyakam srutvatmanya vadharaya. Says, look. So if you really want this called nirvanam sukham, that to hear, so you don't have to achieve, you don't have to get, but you have to know. Yat bodhabhyam, this is the difference. Teaching tradition and preaching tradition. The preaching tradition will say you must practice, you must do. But a preaching tradition will say, look, it only reveals, it will never say do this, do that. That's why even in Veda, Karma Kanda, the ritualistic portion of Veda, even if full of do's and don'ts, never says that you have to do this. Even though there are injunctions, in reality, it is not injunction, it is just knowledge gives the information. If you are interested, you may do. If you are not interested, you don't have to do. So that's why Veda only reveals, but never gives any injunction. That's the one of the best part. Even though people have been looked at that Vedic Karma Kanda, ritualistic portion of Veda is full of injunction. No. It only reveals. So that's why Yad Bodhabhyam. So it is to be known. And what? See, idanim now. So if you want to really understand something, now I am ready to teach you. The teacher starts. Now it is to learn. What is that to be known? Atma anatma vivechana. Coming back to the first, okay? So that means what? Discrimination between what is Atma and what is Anatma. What is self and what is not self. Not necessarily what is permanent and what is impermanent. Straight away goes to the topic. What is self and what is not self. Then you can say, what are you talking? I know who am I. What is this self and not self? Please, you have to hold on. Now what happens? Now it is being tat uchyate maya is going to be described. Of course, clearly, samyak rupena, not ordinarily, very clearly in details. Shrutva atmani avadharaya. Listening to it, please understand when I am talking in details. Listening to it, may you really hold on this teaching in your mind very well. Because always there is a, let us say, division and the conflict because of this reason. Your way of thinking and the teaching. And of course, these two always goes parallel. One's own thinking and the teaching. Only Shraddha is the bridge. Remember, that's why Shraddhavan Lavate Jnanam. The Shraddha is the bridge between my thinking and the teaching. Tomorrow also the teaching, whatever I listen, that becomes my thinking. You want to remember? Teaching also becomes my thinking. Now what happens? My thinking becomes stronger. Day by day, especially those who listen to Vedanta, their thinking becomes more stronger, more powerful. Now remember, teaching as it is. Now if there is no bridge called Shraddha, if the bridge becomes weaker, then what happens? There is no teaching, only my thinking. So again, people are away from Vedanta. People are being misguided time to time, deluded time to time, when the bridge of Shraddha becomes weaker. That's why the concept of Shraddha is very strongly recommended to make sure that I can't afford my thinking to be stronger than the teaching. Because in my crisis time, especially when there is affliction, when there is confusion, will my thinking work? Will it be helpful? In fact, I will not be able to wait for a second. I will be so restless. But at that time, only teaching will be helpful. So that means at the time of my crisis, my thinking is not going to be helpful to me. In fact, it will complicate further. So there only teaching is helpful. So that's why to keep in touch with the teaching, I don't have any other choice other than maintaining the Shraddha. Can you see this point? That's why here is being highlighted very nicely. What? Let us look at this Atma, Anatma, Viveka. The discrimination between self and not self. Now question may arise, what do you mean by the self and not self? Hey look, this is me. This is myself, okay? I myself, you understand? Some people put their hand on their chest, okay? I myself, okay? I so and so declare. And of course this oath ceremony happens all over the world. All the president, prime ministers, all the ministers, how they? In the name of God, in the name of nation, in the name of this thing, I so and so. So what does that mean? Hey look, let us read, okay? What here is being taught. Majasti meda palarakta charma tvagat tve dhaturbhi rebhi ranvitam padoruvaksya bhuja prushtamastake angei rupayuktametat. If you get, fine. If you don't get, fantastic. So he tried there. Look. So generally we have 7 dhatus we look at. So generally when we look at the body, like we say, when the food is being born, we say khadya rasa rakta, but instead of khadya means the food, then it becomes juice, then after that rakta. So instead of that he brings charma and tvak. This is the difference here brings, okay? Look what he says. Majja asti meda. Very nicely if you look at Majja asti meda pala rakta charma tvak avehi. So he highlights, generally if you look at from externally, the skin generally we go. So skin also that is called external skin and internal skin. So dermis and epidermis. Then after skin comes what? Straight away blood. Then after blood comes definitely flesh. Then fat. Then bone. After bone comes bone marrow. Now what he says is, these are called dhatus. So these are the ingredients now is involved in this body, very nicely packed, and of course with different ways, called differently. So especially these ingredients, epidermis, dermis, in short called charma. Then comes blood, rakta. Of course, then pala, flesh, meda, fat, asti, bone, and maja, bone marrow. So when these are being put differently in different places, sometimes they are called pada, padu, both two legs. Sometimes they are called bhaksha, thighs. Of course, bhaksha is chest, sorry, bhuja, arms, uru should be thighs. Then comes prushtha, back, and mastaka, head. And of course, along with that, what? Angehi, upangehi, they have got their own parts, okay? These are the parts by themselves, and they have got their inside, because when you say hasta in hand also there are many things, okay? Let us not get into in details. Now he says, united, putting everything together, because there is a sentient being who has put together intelligently, what we call as God, who is efficient cause. Now everything has been put together. And this is something called, what we says, as in short called Sariram, which we will see in the next verse, okay? That means this is called as body. So if this is the body, then what do you want to arrive here? Let us look. What is that body? He says, look, how it is being formed and what is all about. Aham mameti pratitam sariram mohaspadam stulamiti yate budhi navo nava swaddahanam bhumaya sukshmani bhutani bhavanti tani. Now he gets into both sides. He gets into one is how this body comes to the existence, also the confusion part. Now beautifully highlights what you call as this seven thing put together, and of course arranged in a different way, in different form, called as sometimes head, sometimes called hand, sometimes called as chest, sometimes called as thigh, what not. Now this put together called as Sariram, body. Now this body becomes beautifully that Mohaspadam. So this is the foundation of Moha. This is a beautiful way of looking at, okay? This is the foundation of Moha, delusion. So whatever Moha we have, whatever attachment we have, remember, unless and until somebody or something directly or indirectly attached to your body, you will not get attached to that person or object. Try. Some type of attachment has to be there. And then he says, with reference to that, once that is the foundation of Moha, that is the base of Moha, we say that is the, that is the really base because of which the Moha comes. He says, with reference to that, I have a sense of notion I develop. What is that called? Aham mama iti. This is me, this is mine. Can you see? So once this is me and this is mine, the sense of me and mine is being developed. But I forget that this body is sthulam, is a gross. It's being gross, I don't look at it. But I already have taken me or this body as me. That's why this body appears to be completely different to me now. That's why when the body is good, I am good. When the body is not good, of course I am not good. That's why all over the world people are going crazy because of this corona, which is natural. It's nothing but because of the attachment of the body. Of course it will continue. That's why how much distance we create. That's why what he says, sthulam iti iryate. This is being called as sthula. This is called as a gross. That's why only dwelling upon the teaching constantly, continuously, only will be able to make or create some distance, or else impossible. Why we keep in touch with the teaching? Not because of anything. Somebody said, what is there? Once we have understood, studied, like somebody recently told me, I cannot forget, okay? Swamiji, I would like to come and attend, stay with you. And of course, after that, I am a very good person, I can teach. I said, what you can teach? I can teach other people. And especially when foreigners are coming, the person has studied, okay? So foreigners are coming, people think that foreigners are stupid, they do not know anything, okay? This is called Indian people thinking. I am sorry to use this word. I can teach them Bhagavad Gita. I said, wow. Yes, I know Bhagavad Gita. I said, what do you know Bhagavad Gita? I have a certificate. I said, oh, where did you get certificate? And the person said, I'll send you now. What is the certificate? 15 days online certificate from one organization, okay? ISKCON. Swami said, now I am a certified teacher, so I can teach Bhagavad Gita. Now imagine, I really did not want to open my mouth. I said, okay, thank you very much, okay. I just wanted to close the chapter, not more than this. What I am highlighting is very unfortunate people, how they look at the situation. So here, what I am highlighting, teaching is important. I am keeping in touch with the teaching, not to gain anything, but at least not to lose anything. Can you see this point? If you ask me personally, I am by teaching you all, I am not going to gain anything. But definitely, I will not lose anything. That's why in order to not to lose, let me be with the teaching. Because if I am not with the teaching, how long will it take my mind again to take over me? Just imagine. Because all the time, it is exactly like, all the time you are working with the mud or a dusty area in a construction site. And you said, I don't want to clean myself. Anyway, after again tomorrow I have to do. So what is there? Keep this cloth outside. Again put it next day. You understand what I am trying to say? What will happen? Hey, when you are keep cleaning the dress, it's not that you are going to really, please understand, you are not going to make shining your dress, but at least it is not going to be unhealthy, unhygienic. Can you see this point? The color will continue dirty color, but at least it will be not unhealthy for you. So for that sake, if possible, morning once, evening once, midday also one more dress, 3 dresses you can have, keep changing it. You understand what I am trying to say? The moment you go for food, change it. So that to make sure that your physical body is healthy, remains healthy. As it does with reference to this cloth, dirty cloth, and when you are working, mind is always working with external things. That is called dirt. So whenever mind is associated with anybody, anything, please understand, this is very smart mind. The moment mind starts eating something, let us say it's sweet, whether you like it or not, Now mind is attached to the sweet. The sweetness continues with the mind for some time, whether you like it or not. Whenever you hear something, mind is attached. Whenever you smell, mind is attached. And that is nothing called malam, that is called impurity. That's why you go for again and again. That is what the dharma of the mind. That is the dharma of all your sense organs. Now how to create this distance? How to really take care of yourself? Is only through the teaching and teaching. So when you are with the teaching does not give you new thing, but at least will make sure that you will not destroy yourself. Can you see this point? So that's why here is being said, this mama and aham, these two sense of me and mine, is very natural to everybody. Even if great teachers have been carried out. The best example is says Vishwamitra. Let us not forget about him, such a great person. And who was he? Remember, he was a great king who had conquered, named called Vishwaratha. He had his own family, he had blood of things, hundreds children, whatnot. Great thing he did it. Then after that, because of certain circumstances, he wanted to prove himself. And of course he did tapas, just to prove that, look, I am the best person. Finally what happened? As even if he was a Rajarshi, because of his arrogant sense of me and mine, he got carried away with one lady called Menaka. And from them the child was born called Sakuntala. And of course when the child was born and growing, because Indra called, hey look, you have done your job, this lady, okay? Enough, come back, okay? And when Menaka left the child, this Vishwamitra got shocked. What are you doing? He said, look, my boss is Indra. Indra sent me all this mess because to bring down your tapas. Now my job is done, I am going. And of course he took another decision, no doubting, that's another part. So then after that, he became a little different, totally. What I am trying to say is, the sense of me and mine, how it drags, including a person like Vishwamitra. And we have hundreds of examples, thousands of examples. It is not necessarily ladies only, please understand, or it is not necessarily only man, opposite way. It is a reference to the food. It can be reference to with the sense of touch, sense of sight, sense of anything. So that's why here it says, Budheihi. So what they say, even though it is called Stula Sariram, one has to be extremely careful. Then what they say, wise man say very beautifully, look, how this body comes to existence. He goes to Panchikarana very quickly, very shortest way. Nabho Nabha, Nabhaswat, Dahana, Ambu Bhumayaha. So all these 5 elements, starting with Nabha, space, of course air, Dahana fire, Ambu water, and Bhumayaha, Bhumi, earth. From these 5 subtle elements, then what happens? Bhavanti Tani. Now these 5 elements somehow come together. How they are coming together is the next verse. This body is being formed. And how they come together we have seen in Panchikruta, Panchikarana, classification. Let us read next, okay? Parasparam Seir Militani Bhutva Stulani Chastula Sarira Hetava Matrastadiya Vishaya Bhavanti Shabdadaya Panchasukhaya Bhuktuhu. Says how it becomes. These 5 elements we have seen in details. Let us go ahead quickly. Parasparansayihi. So with one part with another, as you know, each one is divided into 50%. Then 150 is left, and last 50 is divided into 4 parts, 12.5. So then that gets mixed up each other. So which we have seen in details in Tattva Bodha, and also in our, what is that called, recently we saw Panchadash. So please refer that. Militani Bhutva Sukshmani cha Stula Sarira Hetava. So because of this Pancha Tanmatras, 5 subtle elements joining to each other becomes Stula element. So whatever we see, the earth, the air that we feel, the fire, the water, even if the space that we feel is not subtle one. They are called gross one, okay? So prior to that there is subtle, which scientists have not come so far yet. Still the scientific research in the level of stula, gross elements, not stula bhutani, not sukshma bhutani, not tanmatras yet. However, so from this five subtle elements becomes five gross elements, and these five gross elements becomes tadya visaya bhavanti. So from this what happens? Sense objects, that also we have seen how the sense objects like sabdadaya, and of course we'll be seeing in details how all these sense organs also are formed. From there, why they are sabdadaya, he says sense objects, why they are being created? Sukhaya bhuktu. So that means the sense objects are meant only for what? For the sukhaya, for the happiness, for of what? Bhuktuhu, the experiencer. So that means the creation comes to the existence. If that happens, then he says beautifully, yayesu mudha vishayesu baddham rago rupashena sadhu dharmena ayanti nirantadhya urdhamuchai swakarma dhutena javena nita. Says, look, here the problems, even though they are created for the enjoyment of this bhaktuhu, experiencer or enjoyer, but here, whoever, mudhaha, so mudhaha means deluded. So whoever is a deluded person, and what he becomes? Deluded becomes what? With reference to what? Vishayesu, with reference to the objects. And how it happens? He says beautiful that mudha, the delusion happens. Rago rupashena. And the person becomes baddha, becomes bound. Because of what? Because of the rope of attachment. So when there is attachment with reference to the vishaya, the object, sense objects, now you are tied down. And once you are tied down, so that means what? Automatically you are a confused, deluded person. Very simple. And because of that reason, it becomes sudhu dharmena ayanti niyanti. And it becomes very difficult to break or to cut this particular rope. How? The beautiful example goes, a Brahmara and Padma. So Brahmara means a bee and Padma means lotus. So a lotus is blossomed. Brahmara is very strong. You know how it can really penetrate, sting and whatnot. Now the bee gets into this lotus. As enjoying the lotus, it becomes evening, sunset. So once it becomes sunset, now slowly the lotus petals gets closed. Now the Brahmara, the bee, is inside. Actually, for the bee will take few seconds, not a minute, okay? To make a hole, all the petals can come out. But what happens to the Brahmara, to the bee? Because of attachment towards the fragrance and let us say fragrance and essence of lotus, now the bee cannot use its thinking. Now trapped, and finally you will discover next day the bee will be dead inside. This is a beautiful live example, one can see it. Same thing also human beings. With reference to sense objects, can be handled very carefully. That's why we all are very good in giving advice to others. Like, you know, if another bee is there next to it, you will say, hey, look, you stupid, you made a mistake. You could have used and make a hole and come out of it. You understand? Hey, we are a bee, okay, we can do But what happens? No, impossible. So also if you look at this particular point, why it happens? Because of the attachment. And it's very difficult. Wherever you see there is attachment with reference to anything or anybody, you cannot do anything. You become completely helpless. That's why what you do? That's why ayanti, niyanti, and how? Adha urdhamiti. So definitely because of that reason what happens? Now you come and go. So you come and go means you take birth and death. Or if you look at one life, you keep jumping, okay? You keep jumping up and down with reference to, or here up and down different locus. And of course why it happens? He says, look, swakarma dutena. And it is in keeping with your own. So that means all your activities, everything happens. It is because of your karma. And of course, you need to look at this very carefully. In short, make sure that not allowing oneself to get attached to anything or anybody in life. Let me be, as I started, let me be connected with everybody. Let me be connected with everything. But let me not get attached. The day I discover that I am getting attached, then and there you have to say, you understand? Then only you will be able to manage yourself, or else without your knowledge you will discover you are already somewhere. Now how is it possible? Already 50. Now few verses will come. One of the best, very popular verse, okay, which we will see tomorrow, and we'll try to understand how the human being is much more helpless. That verse we'll see tomorrow, okay? Please close your eyes. Om